你个亲家嘞！我的特大师兄，今晚打个卖不出去。
It's all covered in today's China Truths.
What began as a fairy tale of explosive hype has now turned into one of the most dramatic collapses China's electric vehicle market has ever seen. Xiaomi's EV dream, once hailed as a sure win, is now drowning in canceled orders, unsold inventory, collapsing resale prices, and a tidal wave of public anger. This is not a temporary stumble or a PR crisis that can be patched over with discounts and slogans. It is a full-scale credibility breakdown, unfolding in real time. Just months ago, Xiaomi's EV debut looked unstoppable. When the IU7 was unveiled, the numbers stunned the industry. More than 50,000 orders in 3 minutes, nearly 90,000 in under half an hour. Fans camped overnight. Social media overflowed with screenshots of successful orders, countdown timers, and triumphant posts declaring Xiaomi had rewritten the rules of car making. Delivery centers could barely keep up. Cars arrived and vanished the same day. Waiting lists stretched for months. To many observers, Xiaomi looked ready to challenge the entire EV establishment. Fast forward to today, and the scene could not be more different. Across Beijing, Shanghai, Nanjing, Chengdu, Changsha, and other major cities, Xiaomi delivery hubs have turned into silent parking cemeteries. Rows upon rows of SU7 and IU7 vehicles sit motionless, bumper to bumper, baking in the sun or collecting dust. In Chengdu's Longquani district, the cars are packed so tightly that even staff struggle to move between them. Some vehicles show visible grime on the paint, an unmistakable sign that they have been waiting far longer than planned. These are not cars awaiting eager owners. They are cars no one wants to take home. So how did Xiaomi go from instant sellout to inventory overload in such a short time? The answer lies in a cascade of failures that shattered consumer confidence piece by piece. Reports of high-speed crashes began circulating online. Door handles jammed after collisions, trapping occupants inside. Owners complained about scratched frames, damaged structural components, and shocking repair bills. Some battery fixes reportedly exceeding 100,000 yuan. OTA updates triggered unexpected drops in driving range. Buyers were pressured to pay the full balance within days, sometimes before even seeing the car in person. Test drive accidents involving Xiaomi fans themselves only intensified fear. Excitement curdled into anxiety. For many would-be buyers, the question became brutally simple. Who dares to spend 300,000 yuan on what netizens mockingly call a mobile bomb? Cancellations followed, first quietly, then publicly, and finally en masse. Buyers began posting online, asking whether their 5,000 yuan deposits could be refunded. Some openly admitted they would rather lose the deposit than risk ridicule or danger. Others offered to transfer their orders to anyone, free of charge, just to get out. Industry observers estimate cancellation rates between 30 and 40%, translating into tens of thousands of rejected vehicles every month. On Xiaohongshu alone, a group dedicated to IU7 cancellations swelled to more than 400,000 members, sharing step-by-step guides, legal advice, and screenshots of orders switched to rival brands. The collapse did not stop at new orders. The second-hand market imploded just as fast. Almost new Xiaomi vehicles with barely 1,000 kilometers on the odometer flooded resale platforms, often discounted by 50,000 yuan or more. Owners who had taken delivery early found themselves trapped. Selling meant absorbing massive losses, but keeping the car meant living with constant doubt. Some sellers slashed prices repeatedly, begging for buyers. Stories spread of cars bought for 210,000 yuan, failing to sell even at 180,000. Jokes turned dark. People joked that SU7 owners would be crying in bathrooms as prices collapsed by nearly 100,000 yuan before they even finished paying. As pressure mounted, legal cracks began to appear. The once non-refundable deposit suddenly became a national legal battleground. A court in Haikou ruled that Xiaomi must not only refund the deposit, but pay double compensation. The verdict sent shockwaves through the industry, striking directly at Xiaomi's pre-sale model. Encouraged by the ruling, collective lawsuits erupted. Courts in Suzhou and Zhengzhou rejected Xiaomi's attempts to shift jurisdiction. In a single day, more than 2,600 buyers completed real-name rights protection registrations. For China's auto market, this level of organized consumer backlash was unprecedented. Meanwhile, new orders reportedly collapsed by as much as 170% in November. Xiaomi's stock price slid sharply. Official statements blamed public opinion, but netizens were blunt. This was not an opinion problem. It was an anger problem. Comparisons to China Evergrande Group began circulating, with critics saying Evergrande sold unfinished homes while Xiaomi sold future cars. The analogy stung because it captured the mood perfectly: promises made first, problems discovered later. As bloggers filmed endless rows of dusty vehicles, Xiaomi reacted defensively. Delivery centers banned filming. Cars were hastily covered with green tarps, instantly mocked online as covers of shame. Soon after, Xiaomi announced a ready stock vehicle selection program, promoted personally by Lei Jun. Buyers were encouraged to accept cars with minor scratches, display wear, or previous rejections in exchange for faster delivery. Officially, it was framed as efficiency. Unofficially, most people saw it for what it was: a desperate attempt to unload inventory and stop the bleeding. Many customers refused outright. They cited unresolved safety issues, deposit disputes, and repeated crisis mismanagement. Worse still, Xiaomi itself began selling nearly new vehicles, undercutting the already collapsing used car market and enraging secondhand dealers. For early buyers, it felt like betrayal layered on top of loss. Then came the marketing fiascos. Xiaomi claimed to have beaten Tesla in a Beijing winter performance test. Netizens quickly dismantled the claim. Snowy visuals filmed at 10 degrees Celsius, unexplained energy gaps, and testing conditions that raised more questions than answers. The championship trophy, critics noted, came from an organization linked to Xiaomi itself. The result was ridicule, not applause. Safety concerns only deepened. Reports piled up of severe crashes destroying long stretches of guardrails, multi-car collisions, doors failing to open after impact, power systems not shutting down, and steering wheel malfunctions within weeks of delivery. Drivers described screens going black, cameras failing, HUDs disappearing, and brake lights malfunctioning. Adding insult to injury, Xiaomi's AI assistant reportedly ignored Xiaomi-related incidents while listing accidents from rival brands, triggering fresh outrage. Even outside the auto division, Xiaomi's reputation took collateral damage. Viral videos showed other Xiaomi products failing spectacularly, including a high-end television reportedly falling apart overnight, despite costing over 10,000 yuan. The narrative hardened. This was not sabotage by competitors, nor was it media exaggeration. It was Xiaomi's own most loyal fans, once believers, now disillusioned critics, who drove the backlash. From design controversies to high-speed crashes, from jammed door handles to questionable test claims, from deposit disputes to collapsing resale values, trust was chipped away until nothing remained. Xiaomi didn't just lose momentum in the EV market, it lost credibility. And in the car business, credibility is everything. Once trust is gone, no award, no inspirational speech, and no marketing campaign can bring it back. Beneath the flashy slogans about global leadership in electric vehicles, China's EV industry is entering a phase of systemic collapse. According to industry insiders, nearly 90% of Chinese EV companies have already gone bankrupt, suspended operations, or are surviving in name only. Thousands of once hyped startups have vanished without ceremony, factories have shut down, and mass layoffs have become routine. Production lines that once ran day and night now sit silent, with weeds growing through abandoned industrial parks. Years of reckless cash burning have finally hit a wall as the market runs out of real buyers. Actual demand is shrinking fast, while production capacity was inflated far beyond reality. What was marketed as a technological revolution is now revealing itself as a battlefield littered with corporate corpses. Even the so-called giants, once seen as industry pillars, are being dragged into the inventory abyss. It is not only Xiaomi. Electric vehicles from BYD are also piling up in massive numbers across China. Many dealerships have been forced to rent outdoor lots just to store unsold cars, covering them with tarps to shield them from sun and rain. Discounts are rolled out again and again, yet their impact grows weaker each time. Consumers wait for even steeper price cuts, while dealers bleed cash daily. New models remain unsold as older versions rapidly lose value. Inventory is no longer just cars. It is frozen capital, mounting debt, and escalating financial risk. When sales stall, the entire system begins to suffocate. The root problem is not simply intense competition, but a deeply distorted development model. Too many EV companies were born from subsidies, speculative capital, and policy hype rather than genuine market demand. Products look different on the surface but are largely identical underneath, with competition focused more on marketing than substance. Once subsidies declined and cash flows tightened, weaker players collapsed like dominoes. Consumers, meanwhile, have grown far more cautious. They worry about safety, durability, resale value, and long-term repair costs. Electric vehicles have shifted from symbols of the future into high-risk assets. And once trust is lost, it is extraordinarily difficult to rebuild. Most alarming of all is that this crisis shows no clear bottom yet. The larger the inventory, the more prices fall. The more prices fall, the more buyers hesitate, creating a deadly downward spiral. Automakers are forced to sell at a loss just to survive, but the more they sell, the deeper those losses become. Banks are tightening credit to the EV sector, investors are pulling out, and capital markets are freezing over. What is unfolding is no longer a short-term correction, but a brutal industry-wide purge. When the dust finally settles, only a handful of brands will remain standing. And the true cost of China's dream to dominate the global EV era is now becoming painfully clear. Thanks for watching. Your feedback helps us improve every day.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.